Thank you, Advancement Courses, for sponsoring today's show. Stay tuned for how to save 20% on online professional development. Today's show is on question formulation techniques, and you can use this right away. I used this technique last week in my classroom. And the amazing thing was, as the kids were formulating their questions and sharing their best questions, I was actually able to quickly answer over half of them and just catapult my class forward. I now have a list of very good questions on the board and have designed my lessons next week around answering those questions. Things as simple as, how do I change, my desktop to how do I make an app? And it's obvious what this class is interested in because of their questions. So I challenge you to take today's episode and apply it immediately and let me know what you do. Episode 418, Question Formulation Techniques.
The 10-Minute Teacher Podcast with Vicki Davis. Every weekday, you'll learn powerful, practical ways to be a more remarkable teacher today.
Today, we're talking with Chris Fancher, middle school teacher from Texas. And Chris, I appreciate you coming on the show since you are currently chaperoning a Model UN trip and you just took a quick break to have this conversation with us about question formulation techniques, or QFT. Okay, define this for those who've never heard of this.
All right. Well, what it is, the Right Question Institute out of the Boston area came up with this many years ago. And the idea being that if we can get students to ask their own questions and come up with a list of those questions, then they can start owning some of their learning. It's very similar to kind of a KWL chart or knows and need to knows, except it's a much more structured formula.
Okay, so help us understand, how do we help students with QFT?
Just yesterday, I started a project with my 8th grade design students. We're going to be designing for a local Firestone dealership a triangular-shaped display that will hold tires. So we're going to have a little bit of math, a little bit of everything else in there. But all I did was I gave them that about what you just got right there. All right, we're ready to go. And I gave them 3 minutes to write all the questions that popped in their head, very similar to a quick write in an English class. And they do that individually. But they're sitting in groups. At the end of the 3 minutes, they talk amongst their groups and they pick the 3 best questions that they have for their group. And then group by group, they go around the room and they share their top question one at a time until we've exhausted all of the questions. And those become our classroom questions. And those are the questions we're going to pursue during this project.
Chris, you can't control the questions. Are you happy with what you get with this technique?
The short answer is they learn and I learn what they can do and create with the questions. And just like any good teacher, I become a little bit of a magician in that I have 6 classes. And so if the next day that we meet, I tell them I'm going to compile the questions and I insert a question or 2 that are my questions. And if a student does question, where did that come from? I'll say, that was period 3. I think period 3 came up with that question.
So, Chris, is this the only QFT technique? I'm assuming you have some more techniques that go with this to get even better questions.
Yes, absolutely. But it's more of a knows and needs to knows, because we'll go through the questions. And the big thing with inquiry is that we want to keep coming back to these questions and asking, are we done asking questions? So 2 days from now, someone might mention something and I'll say, we should add that to our list if you agree, and they'll usually agree, and that becomes a new list. So the list is never done. It's always a fluid, liquid list.
So, Chris, are you ever done? Do you have to just say, okay, we don't have time to answer these questions?
Yes, and some questions are just questions students really want to know, but they aren't necessarily something that I want to cover in my project. What I do and what other teachers have done is you make a list of what we call Googleable questions. And so those days where, you get that student who, I'm done, and you say, well, have you done all of the Googleable questions? And that could be a journal entry, or it could be some other place where you want them to put that, but it's a way of doing research on those questions that they're interested in, but not necessarily tied directly to the content.
Okay, Chris, you said something fascinating. You said journal entry. Are journals part of fostering an effective question formulation environment?
whenever you have questioning and whenever you do, whether it's a QFT or KWL or whatever, whenever you're getting students to create questions, we also want them to pause and analyze. Have we answered the questions? Are you satisfied with the answer to the question? Could we go deeper with the question? There's lots of different things besides, the answer is yes. Well, okay, can we get a better answer?
So, Chris, you've been using this technique for a while. Did you ever make any mistakes using QFT?
I'd be lying if I didn't say I didn't make a mistake. But I think with the QFT, you have some forgiveness in that you can kind of reword questions, or you can also, though, in a kind of a related, find that students are actually wanting to go in a different direction. And when you're with students and you have the time and you allow yourself, it's okay to go in a little bit different direction than you originally planned.
Chris, how does teachers get started with QFT?
All right, one of the easiest ways is to go to the Right Question Institute's webpage, which is just rightquestion.org or RQI. If you Google either of those, you'll find them. They have wonderful information, very helpful people. They do seminars and trainings in a couple different places each year around the country. But I found I just bought their book. I think it's just one question. But anyway, their material is just wonderful, easy to follow, easy to understand, and then just jump in and do it.
Chris, as we finish up, that QFT is an essential part of your classroom. Why?
What it is I've been involved with the project-based learning kind of environment in my classroom for about 10 years. And I was always trying to find a way to get to students to go with better questions. Found that, what do we know? What do we need to know? Would hit surface questions, but they wouldn't go very deep. When students are able to write down questions that they're thinking of, 20 questions maybe, and then get together in a group and discuss them. What are the good questions? What are the bad questions? And then force themselves to pick 3 good questions and then share out in the classroom. You really, really get some very enriching questions.
So, remarkable educators, this is not the first time we've heard about the Right Question Institute or question formulation technique, but this is a deeper dive into it. We kind of put it on our objectives for this season since we had so many people mention it last season that we needed to dig a little deeper. So I would encourage you, what kind of questions are you encouraging your students to ask? Because sometimes it's not knowing the answers, it's being able to formulate the right questions. Thanks for listening. Start off the new year strong by planning your professional development with advancement courses. They offer over 200 online graduate-level PD courses in 19 different subject areas for K-12 teachers just like us. And because they're online and self-paced, you can take them anywhere and anytime with up to 6 months to complete. The courses are available for graduate credit through CAEP and regionally accredited university partners, or for continuing education units that meet your state requirements. They're a terrific way to get your PD done, and the courses really focus on creating practical products that you can use in your classroom the next day. Right now, my listeners and blog readers can save 20% off each course with the code COOL20. That's just $120 per graduate credit hour or $160 for 50 clock hours. So go to advancementcourses.com/coolcat and learn more and use the coupon code COOL20. Never stop learning.
Thank you for listening to the 10-Minute Teacher Podcast. You can download the show notes and see the archive at coolcatteacher.com/podcast. Never stop learning.